Hey everybody, it's May 14th, so that's 8 days before we're in legal strike position again. You know what? Still a beautiful day. We're one step closer to a resolution of this 6-month process that's been taking place thanks to the ineffectiveness of the government in their planning to try and create a situation that doesn't work for anybody. So Canada Post ripped off the Band-Aid today, stating what they might do to your benefits and to your labor standards and the expectations. And there's a lot of people on the internet who apparently have either had their head in the ground, and there's no shame for that. Most of us just want to go to work and get the job done every day. But suddenly they're all out on the internet and they're freaking out. Look, this is not a pretty time. It's not stressful. It's stressful. It's stressful as hell. And we need to take a chill pill. We really do. We need to hope that the best things come for us. Do what I'm doing now. Go for a walk. That's what I do. I mean, I know I'm a letter carrier, but I haven't been letter carrying since I've been elected as the president. But here I am, going for a walk because it soothes me. It gives me something to do. It gives me, takes that energy that I've got and brings it down a bit. Going on Facebook and just spouting over and over again it's the end of the world is not going to help anybody, including yourself. Matter of fact, I seem to think a lot of it turns into a bit of an echo chamber. And then those who do not like that echo chamber will let you know. And then it turns into an argument. So that can be very challenging for those of us who have committed ourselves to getting you as truthful information as possible. Because, well, it takes me time to research the answers. The reality is I'm not getting the answers from our national office. I'm not getting much in the way of answers at all. Basically, the information you get is the information I get. And that's frustrating in a lot of ways, and I totally understand that. But at some point or another, somebody's got to step up and say, hey, this is what you're doing. And that falls to me. There are a very small group of people who are very vocal about demanding that we have another strike vote or decertifying the union or all of these different things. And you know what? They're having a bad day too. And we need to get over that. So Canada Post ripped the Band-Aid off today, and they sent out a notice saying that they could do all of these things. They could get rid of all your leave balances. They could get rid of short-term disability. They could get rid of injury on duty. There are a number of things that they could do. And what this tells me, specifically about our membership, is how much you value those things. But also how those things have never been free. Those things have always come at a cost. They come at a financial cost. If you work it out, it's somewhere around $4 to $4.5 million a day for the corporation and the union members in tandem. This is part of the reason why our national office is never going to offer to pay it, but the only reason why Canada Post is asking is because they know we can't. There's no financial way for us to do that. It is fiscally impossible and irresponsible for us to do that. But the corporation is trying to make us look like the bad guy. But by making us look like the bad guy, it's making you look like the bad guy because you are the union. There's a number of different things to think about, like, the idea that the union is more like a gym membership. If you don't go to the gym, you're not going to get any benefits from it. Well, there's a lot of people who are saying, what demands are we aiming for? Well, we invited you into the process the whole way. So if you didn't participate, that's kind of on you. If it didn't go the way you wanted, but you did participate, thank you for participating. Your voice was heard. But the membership overall has its say. There's no other way to put it, right? Either get in or, I don't know, see what you're complaining about. People who want a strike vote, it's not going to happen. They don't need one legally. It costs millions of dollars to do. The national office hasn't given us a request to do that. And under our constitution, they're the only people who are allowed to request that. I can't have a strike vote And we don't need one. And what would it change? It wouldn't change anything. The simple fact of the matter is that we are, our contract still expires on November 22nd, with or without a strike vote. And then we're still at the negotiating table. Nothing changes there. It's really not a good thing. You want to decertify the union? That's going to take years. You should have started that years and years ago if you want to do that. I'm all for the members representing themselves. Matter of fact, that's what I try to do. But most of the time, people want their union to do things for them. But I only have the power that you give me. I do not have any sway or authority that is not given to you by me. There's no reason why the corporation has to listen to me, aside from you standing up for yourself and then allowing me to represent you. That's how this works. You know, this is going to be a longer video, probably the longest one I've ever published. And you know, maybe there'll be some opinions you won't like in it, but at least they're going to be, oh, my camera's going all the way over there. But at least they're going to be honest. So Canada Post ripped the Band-Aid off, and a lot of people have suddenly come up for air. And you know, like I said, there's no shame in that. Like I said, people just want to go to work and they want to do their job. That's all what we want. But if that was all you needed, you wouldn't have a union. You'd still be working for $2.25 an hour under federal mandated laws. You know, like, that's just the way it was. And that's probably an exaggeration on the amount of money that they were making. I don't know what it was since 1965. But this really is the opportune moment for you to decide what it is that you value in your contract, right? Because sooner or later, the government could force us to vote on something, regardless of whether we want it or not. Maybe they'll legislate us back and give us binding arbitration. But the thing with binding arbitration is that we don't think that's a win, but that's definitely a loss for Canada Post. Because binding arbitration uses a system called replication, and they try to replicate your contract as closely as possible, okay? And then, when they do that, they only make the smallest changes that they can to satisfy the parties for the next few years. But that's not what Canada Post wants. It would have been very easy for the Liberal government to have just used Section 107 like they did with CN and CP and the dock workers and order us into binding arbitration. But that's not what Canada Post wants. And when you're negotiating with Canada Post, you are negotiating with the government. That's just a reality here. And so Canada Post wants significant changes. They want to change our hours of work. They want to change our benefits. They want to change our pension. They want to change our labor or minimum labor standards. They want to change our standards from, that's for 18%, I think it is, part-time, to 50%. There is a binder this thick of things that they're not showing us for very good reasons. I'll get to those in a minute. But you need to decide what it is worth to you. Because if you want to go back to the labor code, you want to work on the labor code, just stick around. Because we could end up working under the labor code. There'll be no union representation, no steward there for you, no grievance system. The right process is there. It's available to you under the law, but that means you need to get a lawyer because we do not have the representation. We'll do our best. We'll always be there for you as long as we exist. But I'm not sure how long we'll last without taking any dues in. And I'm not even sure what my status would be. Would I be required to return to the work floor? I don't know. I still own a job at Canada Post. Currently, I'm being paid by the union, by your dues. But I could be forced to go back to the work floor. And then maybe I could get myself fired. So we just have a lot of real talk we need to have here. And I'm going to try to have it over the next couple of days. You want to tell me nasty things in the comments? You go right ahead. I don't care. I don't even sure how to make the comments go particularly well, but we'll have some real comments. So keep your head down and keep your ears open, and hopefully we get this resolved in short order. All right? Thanks. This is going to be a pretty raw video, so.